asked Luisa the same question about whether the forest was full of memories. And she said that when her father died, a certain bird followed her in the forest, the Machin pishku. Machin pishku imas na uyari? So this Machin pishku bird, the idiophone for it is wah, 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 wah. And this bird followed her in the forest after her father died. And she understood it to be her father accompanying her. She says that still today, after all these years when she goes in the forest, this Machin pishku follows her, wah, 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 which is her father's alma, following her in the forest. And she says that even when he was alive, before he died, he could still turn himself into or communicate through the Machin pishku. So when her father had gone off hunting, and she was out in the forest with her mother, and her mother would hear the Machin pishku, wah, 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 she would say, "Your father's coming," because her father could communicate through that Machin pishku. Kamba yaya cara kausa skai.
Yaya kausa chasa tukusha paktagara irishan chagara ipaktausha nyami yaya shamuni gara mama. Chasnalya talma katiria vagara nyukata. Nyai Machin pishku tukusha. Wah 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 laki lauyari mugara washamanda. Kainin nyaupa sharigara. Alma katiria.
Yeah. Rimai kuti.
Wah wah wah
nishaki. Kamba mama chita uyeskai mara.
Nyuka mama ga nyuka yaya chasa uyari mugara karumanda wah 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 wawaguna. Nyami yaya shamu puchuchishko ta shangai unda chungichi. Machivilata unda chungichi wawaguna. Apuichi nya yaya ga ringa valla mi shamu nya chishiman shamu yaya. Nya chayu yari nya chagara chendai chong tokugara.
Kanguna chagara skai pero pai sachama puri.
Paiga sachama puringa vari aichata kasanga vari nyuka yaya.
Wah wah.
Wah 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 uyari mugara ya. Chitu ya shamas na wakasha purishka chariani nuka. Nyukanchi sachari. Kai biga mana cheri shamun alma.
Yeah. When her father was still alive, they would all go out to the chakra, to the manioc gardens, where her mother would stay with the children, and then her father would go off hunting into the forest while they worked in the chakra. And sometimes they would be there and they would have worked for a while in the chakra, and maybe towards the end of the day or the end of the work day they would hear in the distance wah 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 wah, the Machin pishku bird. And her mother would say, "Children, your father's coming. Hurry up and let's get the last of the yucca into the baskets. Let's get our stuff ready. It's time to go. Your father's coming back from hunting." They could hear him in the forest in the form of this bird coming. Wah, wah, wah. To me that's very interesting because Shuar and Runa, people from Andoas, had an elaborate tradition of communicating through birds, where sometimes you would hear the russet-backed oropendolas or the oropendolas. Those would be carrying messages from women in the chagras to the men who would be hunting back farther in the forest. Sounds like in this case the Machin pishku is carrying messages from a hunter to women working in the chagra. Sometimes we've been out here actually with these same ladies, and a hummingbird has come by, piss, 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 and communicated the anger of a husband far away towards a wife who's maybe out here in the forest. And this tradition of communicating through birds is something which can be found throughout Amazonia, even way in the lower Amazon in Brazil. You find this tradition of communicating through birds. And I think that's only possible if you have this idea of the shared body, in which the relationship where each person's body is connected to the forest in such a way that your relationship between a husband and a husband off hunting in the forest, a wife in the chakra, is mediated by birds, by bird calls that are part of that shared body, tying together an idea, tying together a family of husband and wife. So what Luisa says is that even while he was alive, her father communicated with her mother and with them through the sound of the Machin pishku. And that once he died and she'd go out in the forest, she would hear the Machin pishku always following her in the forest. And this was her father's soul, or her father in his transformed form after he died, accompanying her in the forest, in which he still accompanies her up until now in the form of this bird crying in the forest.